Hello everyone, my name is Bill Dunn. I'm the McCracken County PVA. Over the last several months, the PVA office has been busy reviewing assessments in sections of McCracken County. This year we reviewed the following tax districts: Outside Fire, West McCracken, Concord, Melbourne, and Hendron. We also reviewed the city neighborhoods of Technology Park, Circle Lake, Stein Spring, Eagle Brook, Olivet Village, West Park Village, and Village Square. On April 24th, we'll mail about 6,300 assessment notices to property owners notifying them of their 2025 assessment. While many of these notices are for assessment increases, many are also for new homes, new garages, additions, raises, etc. Between now and May 19th, we'll be discussing assessment changes with property owners. This video is intended to explain the process and the important part that you, the property owner, play in this process. The purpose of reassessing is to ensure that the property tax system is fair and equal. This is accomplished if PVAs comply with state law that says assessments should be 100% fair market value. What is 100% fair market value? It essentially means if you could sell your home for $200,000, for example, then your tax assessment should also be $200,000. The Department of Revenue audits our records to ensure taxes are fair and equal. If the audit determines assessments are not fair and equal, the Department of Revenue will require that the PVA raise assessments in the county by sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars to bring the county into compliance. This did happen in 2020 when the Department of Revenue sent me a letter telling me I had to raise assessments by $135 million. For this reason, it is very important that assessments be maintained properly. We never want that to happen again. The PVA office plays one part in a multi-part process involving the PVA, the county clerk, the sheriff, the county attorney, and several property taxing entities. The PVA office maintains the name and mailing address of the property owner. We collect the property characteristics, we map the property, and then we estimate the property value. We are not involved in the collection of taxes, the setting of tax rates, or waiving of late fees and penalties. We are required to inspect every property in the county once every 4 years and reassess every year. When we start the reassessment process for a specific portion of the county, we review recent sales in each neighborhood and determine if a reassessment is necessary. If your assessment has increased a lot this year, here's why. Over the last few years, property values across the country have increased dramatically. You've likely seen in the news that there's a shortage of homes. That includes Paducah and McCracken County. Everyone knows that inflation has been high. These factors all contribute to higher property values. In the tax districts we reviewed this year, we've seen some neighborhood values have increased as much as 30% since 2020. When your neighbor sells their home for a lot of money, it has an effect on your property value and thus your taxes. Every day our inspection department updates property records. They are looking for changes to properties, accounting for new construction, raises, additions, renovations, etc. Our assessors estimate the new property value. If a review of recent sales in the neighborhood indicates a reasonable increase in overall property values, we must reassess all properties in that neighborhood. If a neighborhood has had stagnant property values, the neighborhood will not be reassessed. The last step in this process is a 2-week period each May in which the property owner is given an opportunity to appeal their assessment. This step is vital to the process to ensure that we have an accurate tax roll. Your input to the proposed assessment is vital. We use a process called mass appraisal. This process has a possibility for errors since we don't see the interior of your home. Compare this to a realtor or an appraiser. They get to see the inside of your home before they estimate your value. PVAs do not see the interior, which may lead to errors in the assessment. This is where you, the property owner, come in. When you receive an assessment notice, please review the property characteristics on the back to ensure the age and size are correct. If the size is wrong by a lot, then your assessment will be wrong by a lot. In case of errors, please appeal and let us know these details so we can correct it and recalculate your assessment. This needs to be completed ASAP because the deadline is May 19th. If the home size is wrong, one of our inspectors can visit the home to remeasure, or you can provide an appraiser sketch. The assessment notice shown here also displays the property address, the proposed assessment, and last year's assessment. It also displays the homestead exemption if you have that. Anyone born before 1961 may qualify for the homestead exemption if you own the home and live in the home on January 1st, 2025. The net taxable is the assessment that you will pay taxes on. After reviewing the information we provided and you decide to appeal, you can either come to the office and appeal in person, or you can appeal online on our website, McCrackenPVA.gov. We don't recommend appealing on the phone because of the documentation requirement. If you decide to appeal in person, you'll visit our office at 621 Washington Street. Park in Washington Street, or if you need handicap parking, you can park in the back of the office as shown here. If you park on the street, you'll encounter 3 steps, making it difficult for anyone disabled or in a wheelchair. Access from the back parking lot does not have steps and has handicap parking. When you get to the office, you'll need to complete, as displayed, this PVA conference form. On this form, you'll state what you believe your assessment should be, and you'll state why you think it should be that. You'll provide your documentation that supports your proposed value when you speak to myself or our senior assessor, Glenn Miller. If you decide to appeal online, you can go to McCrackenPVA.gov and use the 2025 Assessment Appeal link. There are generally 2 types of appeals. For each of these appeals, we need documentation. We have calculated your assessment using the information we have. If you believe our assessment is wrong, we need documentation supporting your proposed value so we can determine how much to adjust it. This documentation depends on what type of appeal is necessary. Documentation may include a list of needed repairs with photos and estimates. The first type of appeal applies to homes that need repairs or updates. For example, a kitchen built in the 70s will have a negative effect on your property value. A home that has an active roof leak will also negatively affect your property value. If you need significant repairs or updates, take photos of these items, for example your kitchen and bathrooms, and provide them during your PVA conference, either in the office or using the online appeal form. The second type of appeal pertains to homes that are generally in good condition, but sales in your immediate neighborhood don't justify the value that we proposed. In this appeal, we need you to justify your proposed assessment by comps from your immediate neighborhood. You can look up what's sold in your neighborhood by using our website, McCrackenPVA.gov, then click on Online Tools, and then click Property Record Search. There are a couple of different ways to look up recent sales in your neighborhood. First, you search for your home using the search option across the top. Enter the home's address or the map number located on your assessment notice. After you've found your home and viewed your property record to ensure correctness, click the map across the top. From the menu on the left, click Yearly Sales as shown here. This will highlight properties that have recently sold in your neighborhood. You want to ensure you are only looking at homes with arm's length sales. Other homes are not fair cash sales and do not apply. The second method is to click Comp Search across the top. If you live in a subdivision, place a check in the subdivision box, select your subdivision, then select 3 years from the sale date further down the screen, and then place a check next to Sale Type and select Arm's Length Transaction. Click Search at the bottom. This will show you the sales in your subdivision from the last 3 years. You can use this to calculate or estimate your home's value. When you review the homes that have sold in your neighborhood, write them down, determine how your home differs, and estimate the property value using those sales. This is the information you want to include in your appeal. Sometimes a property owner may include insurance replacement cost as their documentation. The replacement cost generally reflects the most a house should be assessed. If your assessment is more than the replacement cost, please appeal. We want you to appeal in that case. Keep in mind your replacement cost will not include the land. So you need to add the replacement cost plus the value of your land to calculate the total assessment. I hope this information has been helpful in determining if you wish to appeal and how to appeal. The deadline is May 19th. Please feel free to use our website at mccrackenpva.gov or visit the PVA office if you have any questions.